I've put all the handrails on the boiler. They're handrail pillars. They're closer to the boiler than on the 61XX. So I've used, as I say, handrail pillars because they give a more realistic length from the boiler. It's slightly more difficult soldering handrail pillars to white metal than it is to brass because you have to tin them first. You have to use an amalgam of solder. And by that I mean using 145 solder for doing the tinning and low melt solder for doing the soldering. Now, in order to tin them, you've got to be brave. Is hold it close, flood the end of the pillar with flux and just tin the stem. That fizzing, by the way, is the flux, not my flesh. So what I'm going to do is fit this lower handrail pillar here. I've attached already the one pillar with solder, the end one. Well, they're both end ones, but now both are tinned. So that fits in there, that fits in there. They just need attaching. So we turn it over using the iron set at much lower temperature, about 250. What you don't want to do is cheerfully melt the white metal. And using 70-degree melting point solder, you just touch on the inside. This won't work unless you've tinned it. White metal solder doesn't take nicely to brass. Do the next one. Nice fizz. There we are. Now the reason why I've left these overlong is, or will become apparent almost immediately, is you have to then solder the handrail to the pillar itself, and it's all too easy to get a large blob. Wind the iron back up again, not too hot. Touch it, and then you can run excess solder away onto the waste. Get the zurons and snip this one too. Have a small piece of kitchen towel to get rid of excess flux. So any large amounts of excess solder have just gone away with the scrap piece of wire at the end. And all these handrails were put on in the same way.